Hey, I'm back. Okay, I know I disappeared for like a month and I could give you some bullshit about taking intentional space or whatever, but the truth is, I couldn't. I didn't have things to say. I couldn't show up here and keep talking like I had my shit together when on the inside, I know deep down I clearly don't. And something happened a few weeks ago that made me realize that I've been doing the thing again. The thing I swore I would never do. I've been trying to be good. Like, not good as in decent or kind, but good as in acceptable, palatable. The version of me that doesn't make people uncomfortable. And it's exhausting. And here's the weird part. I didn't even realize I was doing it until I had what I can only describe as, I don't know, a complete meltdown in my kitchen while making sandwiches for my kids. Because apparently that's where all my life revelations happen now, over deli meat. So here's what happened. I gave a keynote a few weeks ago, and it was good, like really good. I was being myself. I was talking about real leadership. I was certainly, probably, swearing more than I should have, of course, but whatever, that's who I am. I felt alive, like actually alive. And I was talking about showing up as your real self, not performing for the room, all that stuff. And I meant it. I really did. I was talking about how hard it is to step into real leadership, the kind that we talk about in self-help books and, well, I don't know, on podcasts about authentic leadership. And afterwards, someone I really respect and love came up to me and said, "That was amazing. Maybe just a little less swearing next time." And something in me just broke. Not broke like sad, broke like frickin' snapped. I went completely cold. And I said, "Thanks for the feedback, not fucking changing." That's a direct quote. And inside, I was like, oh, fuck, here we go again. Because here's the thing. I spent 20 years in corporate America being told I was too much, too direct, too intense, too passionate, too everything. I had even come up with a line. My passion sometimes comes across as inflexibility, as if my passion was something that I had to dampen to make sure everybody else wasn't uncomfortable. It's bonkers. And not everyone told me that my way of being was too much for them in words. It was never that obvious. It was in the way that conversations would shift when I walked into a room, or the ways my ideas would get attributed to the guy that repeated them 5 minutes later. The way that I learned to laugh at things that were definitely not funny and agree with things that I didn't believe, and I thought I was past that. I thought that leaving that world meant that I was free. I'd done the work, like therapy, coaching, all the books. I was healed. But that one little comment, and I was right back to being 17, getting made fun of in high school, being 25, and told that I was too direct or blunt to be a therapist, or being 32 and told that I was different. And then I started thinking about this podcast as I was putting mayonnaise and American cheese, the craft kind, of course, on my kid's sandwich. And I realized, shit, I've been doing it here too. Somewhere along the way, I started editing myself. I started reading the DMs from women saying how much the podcast has helped them. And instead of just being grateful, I started feeling responsible. Like I had to be the person they needed me to be. I started making sure that Every episode had some inspiring takeaway. I started being the voice people needed instead of just being honest about my life and whatever mess I'm currently in. I turned the one place I promised I could be real into another performance. How fucked up is that? So, I've been getting these messages from women who listen to the podcast, amazing women, smart, successful, doing incredible things. And they keep saying stuff like, I love how you have it all figured out. And I'm like, have we been listening to the same podcast? Because I don't have shit figured out, friend. I'm anxious half the time. I question every single decision I make. I ate leftovers that were probably too old to be eaten for dinner last night because I couldn't handle the thought of cooking actual food. And if you think that my children got actual food, you're wrong. They got peanut butter and jelly on those Hawaiian rolls that probably are filled with chemicals. Yesterday, I also spent 20 minutes at Target online trying to decide between two identical phone cases. 20 minutes for a phone case. And I didn't buy either of them, by the way. That's not someone who has their life figured out. But somehow, I started talking like I had all the answers. Like I had done all this work and arrived at some magical place of clarity. And here's what's really fucking with me. I keep thinking I'm going to reach some point where I stop caring what people think, where I stop getting triggered by the same stupid stuff, where I'm just confident all the time. But what if that's complete bullshit? What if we're all just walking around still working on the same issues we've always had, just with better vocabulary and maybe a glass of wine in our hand? This is what I want to talk about moving forward. I want to talk to my people, my crew, the women who've read all the self-help books and are still a mess, who've done therapy and meditation and have the Calm app downloaded on their phone and are still getting pissed off at their husband for loading the dishwasher wrong or not unloading it. I mean, not that I have a husband like that, but I'm just saying. I want this to be for the ladies that text each other, burn it down at 2 a.m., and freaking mean it because God forbid we'd actually sleep 9 straight hours without melatonin or what are those CBD gummies? We've been polished and pleasing our whole lives, and we're over it. We take holistic herbal supplements and we drink wine. We're on HRT and anti-anxiety medication. We do yoga and listen to the new Benson Boone album in our cars. We're contradictions, and we're tired of pretending. So if you're listening to this thinking you should be further along by now, girl, same. I had this moment last week where I was scrolling LinkedIn, which is like, why do I do that to myself? It's emotional self-harm at this point. And I saw all these posts from women talking about their transformation journey and who they used to be versus who they are now. And it felt like complete shit because I don't feel transformed. I feel like me, but with a therapist and slightly better boundaries and, I don't know, maybe more expensive face cream and a nice pair of jeans. And I keep waiting for this moment where I'm going to feel like a real adult, where I stop Googling, am I having a heart attack or is this anxiety at midnight? But what if that moment never comes? What if we're all just winging it forever? And some people are just better at pretending they're not winging it. So here's what I'm thinking. Maybe we need to stop trying to be the finished version of ourselves. Like, what if we just showed up messy? What if we stop pretending that we have our shit together when clearly we don't? I don't know about you, but I am way more drawn to the friend who says, I ate ice cream for breakfast and I cried during that commercial, than the one who's posting about her morning routine and gratitude practice. This podcast, it's not going to be polished anymore. I'm not going to try and wrap things up in a neat little bow or give you 5 steps to whatever. I'm just going to show up and I'm going to talk about what's currently making me question my life choices. Maybe that'll be helpful. Maybe it'll just make you feel less alone in your mess. Maybe you'll stop listening to me. I don't know. But either way, I'm done performing. Even here. Especially here. Even that felt good. So, if this is hitting you, if you're tired of trying to be the good version of yourself, if you're overperforming even in your own life, I would love for you to share this with someone who gets it. We all need that friend who is like, yeah, I'm still working on that too. Text it to your group chat, send it to that friend who always has her shit together, but maybe you're wondering, is she struggling too? Hell, send it to yourself for next week when you're spiraling about something you thought you already dealt with. And if you want to be around women who are done performing, come check out the Wired Collective. This is a place for all of us to figure it out together. No expert energy, just real women doing massive work of becoming ourselves. I'll put the link in the show notes. Look, I don't know what you're working on. I don't know what keeps triggering you or what you thought you'd be past by now. I don't know what version of yourself you've been trying to be that doesn't quite fit. But I do know that we're doing this together. The never-ending work of becoming who we actually are instead of who we think we should be. I'm still figuring it out. You're still figuring it out. Maybe that's exactly where we're supposed to be. Maybe the goal isn't to arrive. Maybe the goal is to keep choosing ourselves even when it's uncomfortable, especially when it's uncomfortable. So, welcome back to Unleashed, the real one, the messy one, the I don't have all the answers, but let's talk about it version of Unleashed. And I think we're just getting started.